Hello everyone. So we are gonna begin a new stream of podcast known as Astroverse. In this, we're gonna talk about everything space, planets, stars, and everything that fills the gap in between.
Uranus included.
Yes. In this specific video, we're gonna begin with something that is very close to our hearts and our lives, because this is about where all can carbon-based life reside other than the Earth. Because honestly, we're not eating the Earth well enough to continue residing here for too long.
Exactly. Unless we actually try to fix it, but that's too much of a hassle. We're just gonna find a new one.
Yeah, makes more sense now. Now, there are some criterias, very set criterias to finding a planet that can support carbon based life. Beginning with what is the age of the star that is hosting the planet. So, there the age of the planet and the age range of the planet both affect it a lot because that changes the Goldilocks zone of the star.
Now, what is the Goldilocks zone?
The Goldilocks zone is basically a zone where the temperature is just right due to the planet being at just the right distance from the star. Not too far, not too close. Just the right distance equals just the right temperature.
The orbit of life.
Yes, would have been a much better term, but they decided to base it on a folk story for children. Goldilocks was a girl and the porridge was right. And now the temperature is right. So, our star is called the Sun and it is a yellow dwarf. Okay? Its age is 10 billion.
Be sensitive what you call a yellow dwarf, Marty.
Ching ching chong chong mean.
Moving on.
Pong pong.
Moving on.
Then there is orange dwarf.
Sí. ¿Cómo
Giro-
estás español?
Lucha Lubre. And yeah, so our star is the Sun, 10 billion years, yellow dwarf.
Give or
Pretty
take.
cool. Yeah, give or take. Actually, it's pretty accurate. Now, the Goldilocks zone is set, okay? Looking good, Goldilocks. She would grow up someday.
Moving on. See, now what other factors involve a carbon life form to exist on planets other than the age of the host star? Is the gravity, is the temperature of the surface, and
Water,
there we go.
Thursday. I was joking. I was kidding. Okay, please.
We're kidding about. Okay,
I was
anyway.
kidding about being kids.
Yeah. Anyways,
Let's not get into that. So, basically, the mass and the size of the planet gave it its gravitational pull. Okay, and that is very much important because for the formation of life itself, gravity plays a very major role.
exactly.
If there is too less or too much, deformed life will be formed. Like it might not be able to perform the functions necessary for it to survive, thrive, and reproduce to make it actually a species.
Ideal species.
Yeah.
Like Kim Kardashian's ass has its own gravity, and that's why Kanye was deformed after it. Anyways,
No comment. Other than that, carbon-based life is made out of
carbon.
carbon and amino acids which make up of its DNA.
Yes.
And all this mingling happens inside water. And all this life also needs water to live. Okay, as it's one of the two primary sources of survival. So water is very important.
Yes.
And then the surface temperature is of course important. You don't wanna
Be Anakin, do you? You want to be Anakin? Lose all four of your limbs to lava? No, right? You want to have the higher ground where it's safe, slightly cooler.
basically you don't wanna burn as soon as you die or freeze as soon as you
Land.
are born. I said burn as soon as you die. In Hindus they do. Okay.
Moving on.
So the surface temperature needs to be, in a very set range, which is approximately, let's say, 8.9 to 18.9 degrees Celsius. Okay, that is known to be a very, standard temperature surface area range.
Of course, we cannot be too flexible with the temperature range because considering that human temperature is also very, very precise.
Yeah. But there are exceptions.
Of course, there are exceptions, but point is that because of the nature of carbon life forms having very precise temperature for their own bodies, the surface temperature has to be somewhat flexible according to that.
Yeah. Given all of that, now we know the criterias. Let's get into the Earth. That
What?
why has this been habitable for us?
Ah, yes.
Our Mother Earth.
You want to get in? Okay, anyways.
The surface temperature of Earth is 13.9 degrees Celsius, which is actually hotter than we basically need. A bit cooler would be better.
This is why global warming is supposed to be an actual issue.
Dumbass. Okay, and now the mass of the Earth is 5.97219 into 10 to the power 24 kilograms. That is very massy.
Lot of mass
Yeah.
for the planet.
And the size is 510.1 million kilometers square.
I can't express it with my hands. Sorry, it would take too long.
Now, due to my experience being, I have met a lot of not so smart people. So
We live in India. Religion thrives here.
either
Do
you're
the math.
either you're very smart or you're not smart at all. It's normalcy is something that doesn't exist, strangely. So there's a difference in mass and size. Okay.
Yes. Mate will give you the scientific explanation. I'll give you the layman understanding of it.
Go on.
I'll start first, I guess. Now, imagine what I'm holding is an egg. Okay. Now, if you take whatever is in the egg except for the shell, that is basically its mass. Whatever comprises within an object that if you remove it makes it hollow, that is what mass is considered to be.
That is very accurate. Very accurate. Commerce guy. I've seen such stupid science people with like such idiotic definition of mass. Commerce without maths guy. Be ashamed. Okay. So the official definition is mass is a dimensionless quantity representing the amount of matter in a particle or object. Exactly what he said. Just in terms that would fetch you marks. Its unit is kilograms. It has a unit. It does not have dimensions, does not mean it won't have a unit. Now, size. Size.
Size is basically how you perceive it. Like you can measure the table and you can find out its size. Now, size is not necessarily equivalent to its mass, which is what like size is something that you can see, something you can measure. Mass is not something that you can see. Thank you.
Size, official terminology of geometrical size or spatial size, is their linear dimensions like length, breadth, width, height, diameter, radius, and everything, along with its area and volume. So all those measurable quantities are its size. Its units are kilometers and everything in the kilometers stuff.
We're excluding American units out of this. That
Yeah.
includes hot dogs and football fields.
Yes, please. And flower country. Okay. So getting to the planets now, the main topic of the video, finally.
Yes.
So there are two planets that are known as
First, we need to introduce them to the concept of what these planets are.
Yes.
Super Earths.
वही कह रहा था.
You started with there are two planets.
I was saying there are two planets known as super Earths.
Let's start with what is a super Earth.
There are two planets known as super Earth.
What is a super Earth? We asked each other at the same time, so I can't even say I asked you first. Basically, I don't think Matt is an answer. So basically,
Okay. So you know Superman, do you? He basically originates from Krypton. On Krypton, he was a very normal civilian. We're assuming because his entire species is shown to be normal civilian. They cannot fly there and stuff. On Earth, they can. Basically, super Earths or super planets are planets on which if you go, then due to the environment and atmosphere there, your innate abilities will be enhanced enough for you becoming a super being.
yeah, like the environment will boost whatever your natural capabilities are.
Stat boost.
Exactly. Kind of exactly that. Stat boost.
Yeah, you can do unimaginable things because it is unimaginable what super planets would do to us.
Yes, but to make it in a much more, like a slightly more feasible manner, let's suppose it's a large planet with less gravity, which would indirectly result in some increase in speed.
That's an example, and a very apt example. Basically, Superman to Earth and what he said as well.
Yes.
Okay, so now getting to these planets, the first one is KOI 5715.01. Now it has a label, it does not have a coined name, okay, because it has not been studied enough to be given a name. Okay, so what we know about it is its temperature, surface temperature, is 11.4 degrees Celsius, which is in the range, pretty good, actually better than
Ideal. More ideal.
ideal. Mass is 7 times of the Earth.
Which means that it'll have a much stronger magnetic field.
And size is 8 times the Earth.
Like your mom.
Better gravity as well. Like your mom. Okay. Second super planet.
Which is we're assuming it's further away because we have less info about this one.
Even lesser info. This is KOI 5554.01. And the only thing we are sure about with this planet is its surface temperature is 27 degrees Celsius. Now, I know it is out of the range. But it is still considered a super Earth. Maybe because of its size and everything. It is an exception. Okay, it is a very big exception. Now, scientists are theorizing it as a super Earth. I do not know why, but I have a theory of my own on why.
Why?
So, I think that this specific planet, the atmosphere, the quality of water, the components in its air, and basic gravitational field and size mass ratio is so much better that it may form the ability of what beings live there to be adaptable to that surface temperature. Basically you can call it evolution in a way. Your skin and your body parts would be very much adaptable to this higher surface temperature because of the things you're getting around you. Much better environment. Okay, so that's why it's a super Earth.
Okay.
It will make you hotter.
Moving on.
So these were super Earths. Now there are some planets that are
considered to be habitable,
yes,
but they're not gonna enhance your natural capabilities.
Just habitable, like the Earth, in a way. Now there is a planet LHS 1140b. Well, I don't know if it's on the left hand side, but it is definitely on the right side of life. Okay. So why is this on the right side of life? Because it has a good greenhouse effect. What is a greenhouse effect, you may ask? I may answer.
What is it?
So basically, there is a lot of carbon dioxide and carbon in other forms in the air atmosphere.
Yeah.
So whenever a star emits heat and energy and radiation, it enters the planet.
Okay.
When it tries to escape the planet, it's like a one-sided lock.
I got it.
Does not let it escape.
It's
And
like
then it goes back to the planet, which makes the planet hotter, which is better sometimes.
so it's like a
Like
cat's penis.
I don't know the reference of that.
Let me explain.
No. No.
It's a very easy explanation. Don't worry. It's not too brutal or gory. A cat's penis basically has.
Why do you know that? Why? Why?
Basically has thorns or
Spiky.
prongs. It's spiky in a sense. So it easily goes in, but it cannot come out unless
Unless it.
the host of the penis allows itself, which is where the definition differs a bit, right? Because
Moving on.
basically,
No. It is not the same.
the concept is sort of similar. Where
Both
it,
may make the what they are inserted into hotter.
yes, the thing that they put in is trapped there. That's the concept. That's where the concept is similar.
Please
That's it.
don't go here again. Heartfelt request. We're not talking about this again.
Okay. Don't imagine Tom from Tom and Jerry with that.
Now you made them. At least don't imagine this with Jerry.
You made them.
Okay. So I hope you understood what greenhouse effect
And a
is.
cat's
To
penis.
an extent, it is good for every planet because that much heat is required. But global warming is becoming an issue because what balances this is the ozone layer, the O3 layer, and that we are depleting because of the toxic gases we are producing as humanity.
Like the bunch of smokers that exist in the world, the waste of human flesh that they are,
My God. Yeah.
they
we don't
contribute
like that.
towards the destruction of the ozone.
Destruction of themselves, destruction of the earth. What's the use? It's so weird. Anyways, now what is interesting about this planet that it might have a possible underground water world. I'll tell you how. Its surface is made of lava, of nickel and iron.
Wait, you said lava and then nickel and iron.
Yeah.
The lava is made of nickel.
What is lava? It's molten metal, right?
Yes.
So that.
Okay.
But under the surface, there is a lot of ice and water somehow. Okay. Due to the surface being like that and there being a good greenhouse effect and so much water inside the surface, scientists are assuming that and theorizing. I'm sure there are scientists, they don't assume without data. So they think that there is a proper water world going on there. Okay.
Would be interesting to live there, not just because it's underwater. Second, how will you go back in space? Because this it's metal now. Whatever's exit there is metal. You'll have to first.
But if you can go inside the surface, you can go outside the surface.
You can crash land inside. You can't crash land outside.
We'll figure it out when we reach that planet. Yeah.
Until next time.
Okay. I really hope that this is true because humanity can actually survive in a water world scenario. They can, build the tech to do that.
Maybe. Most
Because
people-
the trend of making water itself a fuel for technology and travel and various technologies is becoming very,
prominent.
So yeah, that's something that we can use there as a infinite cycle. Anyways, the second planet in this category is like Ben 10, Lure 10b. Ben 10 Ultimate Alien actually was one of my favorite series. It showed in some episodes a lot of exoplanets that support life. That really intrigued me, and that led me to science as well.
Yes. So one of the original Ben 10 aliens was Ripjaws. It's basically a subterranean. Subterranean is the wrong word I'm using. Reptilian.
It's a reptilian. It basically was more underwater being, less.
Yes.
Still.
So because of this, they
When they showed us
enlarged on the concept.
they went to the deeds of Ripjaws and they literally took us to his home world and everything.
Yes, his whole planet.
Yes.
I'm forgetting the exact word. I didn't want to use enlarged, but that's the only word that came to mind.
It's okay. Moving on.
They dove deeper into what makes Ripjaws Ripjaw.
Considering it's water, very apt.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, maybe he lived on LHS 1140.
No, it's the same way what do you call it? Same way LHS. The LHS is the lava one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, same way LHS could have been a big chill world.
Yes. So much sense. It could have been a big chill world. Much more accurate to be a big chill world. We drifted apart. Now, Luton B is another planet which is considered very strongly to be able to host human life or carbon based life. Why? It has the three most essential elements: water, hydrocarbons, and amino acids. It's perfect for life. There's DNA, there is the material for DNA, and there is the
Carbon.
there's water in which the DNA will form into life and thrive.
Ah, okay.
There's a medium,
The
there is
incubator.
the resource. Yes, exactly. Correct word, thank you. Now, this planet is thought to be able to support life so strongly that scientists, through an agency called Messaging Terrestrial Intelligence, METI, has actually sent two radio signals to it. One consisted of a musical composition, because for any biological life that is supposedly conscious and intelligent, music or any kind of art is very prominent is very necessary to show. It shows that you are a life that thinks uniquely, okay, and you feel. So that's very important. The second message was a tutorial about a location in the universe. So because they were like, if you are there, come meet us, bro. So yeah, in hopes of that, the second message was sent. There has been no response,
Either they're too lazy or they just never received the message.
or they don't deem us worthy of meeting. I always think that if there are aliens,
They
might
did
be-
already know humans exist and they're like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Nah. I don't wanna meet.
Like ever since we could stand upright, we've been at war with each other. We don't we don't need to know if there's another species out there to
There
have
is
war
no
with.
food. What to do? Fetch. War. So yeah, humanity is bad, and maybe aliens are smart enough to observe that fact. Okay, moving on to some things closer.
Zoom in on the video. Come on, come closer. So
Hope we had a cameraman to do. Okay, so there actually are two places in our solar system that are, due to very different reasons, deemed to be able to support life, or deemed to be potential potential have that they have
potentially
potential
habitable.
to be converted to habitable spatial objects. So one is the second largest moon of Jupiter, Callisto. This is a more apt habitat. It already has salty ocean under its surface of water, and it has good gravity. Two very, very useful
Water,
criterias.
amino acids, gravity.
Nice. But here lies the problem. Generally, the planets that have good gravity form an atmosphere of their own very, early on, because of the good gravity. But Callisto has not been able to, because the parent planet of this moon is Jupiter, which is a very toxic parent. It is literally a huge ball of gases which is emitting very harmful radiations towards it. So it is unable to form an atmosphere.
Is literally stopping its surrounding planets from reaching their full potential just by their presence alone.
Yeah. If humanity is able to devise a radiation shield big enough to cover at least one, side of Callisto, maybe we can actually think about going and living there.
Again, space travel is still a question. Like, if you do manage to somehow thrive there, how will you escape?
Whenever you make the material for making that radiation shield, make sure it can, also be put on a rocket. It can travel with rocket speed and everything.
Yeah, very, very. It's just a bare minimum thing to do, right? Just
Very small request, very easy.
yes.
And the last one is our brother, the Mars, the god of war, Ares. Now, Mars, why do we consider it so, habitable? Because it's so close. It's so close.
That's
Why
it.
don't we consider Moon? Because it is closer, but we cannot, our current science cannot transform it into a habitable.
Look, just to
surface.
put it in perspective, Mars does not have dust that can destroy everything.
Yes. Moon literally, the dust there can kill you in seconds.
Which is awesome in a way. Like, I'd like to have some moon dust to just throw it around.
Huh? If you throw it at a person in human gravity, in Earth gravity, human gravity, in Earth gravity, instant kill. Yay, light is back. Light likes
At
it.
the mention of death. Not death, murder.
Yay! So yeah, but Mars, that's not the case. Okay, it does not have an atmosphere, it also has radiation, but that all is manageable, considering the advancement in technology.
I mean, we've all seen The Martian, and we know that you can plant stuff there, and with enough planting, you will form an atmosphere eventually.
Yeah. So yeah, that is doable. Mars is doable. The
What?
living on Mars is doable.
Ah, okay. You just say Aries is doable. What? What was that gesture right now?
Kratos.
He really did do him.
Kind. Yes.
Moving on.
Moving on. I want to, dive deeper into Mars.
Oh. What did I say? What does moving on mean, Martin?
I
You
don't
dove
do
right
that.
back into.
I'm bad at that. Okay, so basically, I find Mars very intriguing because of the level of stupidity in the theories I've heard about it. There are some structures on Mars which people say is a intended replica of this phoenix on Earth made by intelligent life.
You mean the Sphinx?
Yes. The Sphinx.
Okay.
Huh. So yeah, that. Which? No. No. Okay. And other than that, okay, there is some ice in the polar caps of Mars. Okay. But it is also true that it had an atmosphere, it was destroyed by meteor shower, comet shower and everything. But to say that due to that there was habitable, surface there, and it is the origin of humanity or all life on Earth.
Origin of humanity.
And all life on Earth is too vague. They say that there was life on Mars. They died because of war and comet shower.
Yes.
War and comet shower, huh?
Like not just the comet shower. Comet shower alone could not have done this.
They were like humans. They formed weapons that destroyed their planet like nuclear bombs and hydrogen bombs.
And there is no remains.
And
Or science.
no remains and science. And when people try to disagree, they are like, show us the remains of Noah's Ark then.
Again, you're relating one myth to another myth.
I'm like, you asking the remains of those things in exchange of the remains of these things proves you wrong.
Yeah, I'm not gonna draw a comparison. I'm gonna get.
So they basically say due to the comet shower, a piece of Mars got chunked to Earth, and on that was the being that was the first,
Form of life.
yes, on Earth, and the parent of all life on Earth. Again, no, no, no. No means no.
There's so much like evidence to like disprove that, but I'm happy if it turns out to be right. That's awesome. Like who knew, kind of moment for you. Congratulations if that ever happens, which I don't think it is. You're an idiot. I'm sorry.
The only Martian I believe in is Martian Manhunter.
Fair enough.
Okay, so basically that was a list of the planets on which humanity or carbon-based life can survive and thrive, with some efforts. Some are close, some are far away, but hope we make it. And
In the
rather than
celebration.
that, I really hope that, instead of thinking let's go there, let's go here, let's rebuild or make this planet be habitable, please try to make Earth habitable again with more effort that might actually work.
Exactly.
है ना? So that's all we have to say. Arigato gozaimasu.
Please like, share, subscribe.
Comment.
Yes, comment.
What planet would you want to live on?
And why?
And why?
Drop in the comments down below. And to add as a bonus, if this video gets 1 billion likes, we'll personally go out to Mars and make a vlog as to why it's habitable.
We will make it work.
We'll reach
We'll
out to
talk to
whoever.
Elon Musk Tauji.
We'll connect. We'll make the connections. Just give us those likes, man. Make
1
us
billion
popular.
likes and we'll go and do a Mars vlog.
Think about it.
See in our eyes, are we not serious right now, huh? We're very serious.
We're Indians. We can do it.
Yeah, we actually